Welcome, everyone. Today is Saturday. It is July the 9th. I'm Frosty, and this is MogTalk. If you're new to the show, MogTalk is a podcast where the Final Fantasy XIV community comes together and discusses anything from PvP to Chocobo Racing to Savage Racing. Today, in honor of our 69th episode of MogTalk, we will be discussing the lewd world of Final Fantasy XIV and video games in general. I brought on two excellent guests to give their opinions on the matter. Let me introduce them each. First, we have returning with us Kerora, the one person who has been part of the show since the very beginning. How does it feel how does it feel to be back on the show?
Pretty good. I feel like I was banned for a while, and then I got to come back.
I didn't ban you?
It's forgotten.
Come on, you are one of the people who have seen every single episode. You've moderated every single episode, so
sort of, not really.
Oh, you're just pretending.
I'll say yes. Yeah, I've been here.
Okay. Next, we have with us first-time guest to the show, the very entertaining streamer Complexy990, aka Sophie. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good, thanks.
Good. Nothing too crazy going on?
No, I mean, I was telling you I was just out for hours catching Pokemon, so now I'm here, though.
Yeah. I think about everybody in the world right now is doing that. It's still hard for me to, go in and just download it and be a part of that, because I feel like I'll get lost in it, and all the things that I have. You might not see MogTalk anymore. It might be over because I'm out trying to catch Pokemon. So
you
I'm
do it on
avoiding it for
the
now.
go, you know?
Yeah, but then so I carry my phones around with me at work, and I go out and meet clients and everything. And then what if the client, do you see the other person who has, if someone has Pokemon Go, you know immediately, right? When you're walking by. It says on your phone, hey, there's another person next to you or something?
No. You just see them with their phone out and yelling about Caterpies or something.
All right, so people, if I'm meeting a client, they're not they have Pokemon Go on their phone, I have it on my phone, they're not ha, this guy plays Pokemon Go, and then they start, okay, maybe it's a little bit different then. Anyways, today, guys, I figured we would go venture off into the world of crude, rude, and lewd for the gaming world. Specifically, of course, in ENJOYYYY. Throughout the game, there are so many jokes and sexual references. It's really hard to kind of miss it. Some like it. Some roll their eyes in disapproval. While it's very difficult to miss, some even actually do miss it. I mean, these are Shrek-level jokes, right? You see these jokes come, and the adults will get them, and then the kids will kind of pass by them. But there's more than I would ever be able to remember in my head with Final Fantasy XIV. I guess the writers were just man, I am so bored. You know, it'd be funny. Let's make this joke called Hard On for tomorrow, and it could be just them having a difficult day tomorrow. I don't know if that exists or not. I just made that up. I should be a Final Fantasy XIV quest writer. Anyways, we are going to have a good bit of fun with it. If you guys have any questions or you want to add to discussion at all, please ask them in chat. Not Kerora today. Cryogenesis will be collecting the questions. So please add them in there, and he'll collect them and throw them in a document, and we'll ask them if they are good enough, I guess. Yeah? All right, guys. You have been very quiet and silent so far. What's up? You guys okay?
Just letting you say your spiel. I figured you.
I'm done. I'm not going to spill anymore. I'm done. I'm out of it.
What was that again? Crude, lewd, and what?
Crude, rude, and lewd.
All right. It's pretty good.
Was it good? You thought it was good?
Good writing, yeah.
Thank you. I wrote
there
that
are a lot of
really
funny quest names.
Yeah.
There's tons of them, and it's all over the place, and it's really hard to actually get to it. Creator is saying in chat that's cringy over 9,000. I guess that's because you guys are just so quiet. I feel awkward right now. Again, I'm the only guy on this show. I don't know how to react to that. Usually I can say a joke and I can be like, hey, man, you get me? And you guys aren't doing that right now. You're just kind of
I mean, did you make a joke?
I made so many jokes. I made them all over the place. I'm sure I did. Maybe they were too subtle. I don't know.
Maybe.
All right, so let's just talk about it, guys. How funny are lewd jokes? You guys have a different perspective than I do probably on this. If someone says a crude joke to you and it's really lewd, how do you guys normally take it? And I'll start with you, Sophie. How do you take it normally?
I mean, usually it's pretty funny. I think in the context of things like, especially like when you're playing the game, if you come across you don't really expect it while you're playing. So when you see a funny quest name or a character makes a joke and someone points it out, it's funny.
Okay.
And it catches in a kind of catch you off guard kind of funny way.
Right. Kerr?
Yeah, I agree. If it catches you off guard, it can be funny. I guess it's like the timing with most jokes.
Okay.
It's pretty attention grabby because
Right.
it's expected, So I don't know. It can't.
I mean, there's
yeah,
like a difference between someone making a lewd joke at you, but then some people like just say something lewd and it's not funny. 'Cause
Right.
It's just like, show me your boobs. That's not funny.
Right, no, not at all. Like
Yeah.
and that's kind of I guess where the line is drawn, right? Where it's a funny joke versus whether it's just being crude.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. There's a big difference between someone saying it like another player versus it being just a funny quest name, right?
Right.
Okay. So I can see that. And as streaming, Sophie, streaming all the time, I'm sure you see it where people just come in and they're just complete dicks.
Oh, yeah.
Right? How often do you get that?
Well, I don't really like. I honestly don't get the just random people. Well, if random people will come in and say something crude, yeah, and then that's just like someone will ban them or something. It's more when the conversation starts getting on the lewd side and people don't realize that it's then inappropriate to say something directed at me. Like maybe we're making jokes about like butts, but like don't start asking about my butt.
Right.
Like people like sometimes it's hard to like find that line, which I think is the difference between like that's why people came up with the word lewd, because it's not crude, it's like lewd, it's like kind of cute and like inappropriate and funny.
When did that word like start to exist? Has that been around forever? I felt like it's only been the last few years that I've been actually hearing it often. Somebody can look it up in Urban Dictionary, I'm sure, and tell us. But Kerr, when you stream, how often do you get people coming in and just making random sex jokes at you? I moderate your chat half the time, and I pretty much shoot them down quickly. And I think that's because I'm just a very protective boyfriend. But I mean, how often do you get that when I'm not around?
I mean, I don't stream too much anyway, but like when I do, it doesn't seem like it's a huge problem. It's not like I'm like a huge streamer anyway either, so I don't really attract people yet. But every now and then somebody will come in and say something stupid. But it's easy, just ban, time out.
You know what's funny? Like one of the first times that I started streaming, like within the first couple of days, and I was like, Kerr, I'm gonna start streaming. This is what I'm gonna do. And then like the very first part of the day, someone came in and just said, "Hey man, show me your balls." And they just start talking about this stuff, and Kerr got so upset. Like she was just like, I don't know if you should do this. This is stupid. But I mean, that's the internet. That's what we're looking at. People love saying this stuff out loud all the time because this is where they can say it without any kind of consequences to it, right? So, Sophie, you get it a lot, but you're okay with it as long as it's not.
Yeah, I mean the thing is like I talk about I have like the 18 plus little warning thing on my stream because we often like kind of like talk about like less than like stuff for younger audiences. Like we talk about lewd stuff, I guess, but then I'm not really okay with people like directing it at me, which is kind of the line that I have to draw somewhere. Like we can talk about lewd stuff without it being like, let me see your balls. Not that anyone would say that to me, but
right.
Okay. So
I got it. I mean, there's only like one streamer in the Final Fantasy 14 community that probably doesn't have a 18 plus filter on, and I think that'd be Rose, right? She's the only one who has actually been able to maintain that, and I applaud her so much because I could never keep that up. There's some days I just want to come in and just say, the worst things imaginable that you should not say near children because I've had a bad day in raid or work or whatever else it is. But All right. So, are there any kind of like funny jokes within the game that stand out to you guys that you will always just remember because it was just that day it was the perfect joke for you?
I mean, I can't think of any like long-term ones because I mean, I've been playing for like 2 years, but I can't think of anything that goes like way back for me. The other night though, in stream, we did have a good laugh over one of the Beast Tribe quests being named Pussyfooting Around, which most people don't really know the word pussyfooting is like actually a word. It's not like
Right.
actually inappropriate. But
Right. Well, you got to think too. Like they choose their words probably pretty carefully when they make these quests.
Yeah.
And so like when they say that, they know the audience will just pull that from the content or pull it from the words itself and make it a joke out of it.
yeah.
For example, you know, when you're fighting the crab in Costa and it's not lupus or something like that. You can kind of just make God, that I don't know why that one stands out. It's not like a lewd joke, but it stands out so much because it's just like talking about cancer. It's kind of a little dark to me. I don't know.
It's based off of House.
What?
House.
House?
Yeah, the series.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
I
didn't know that. That's cool.
Really?
Though. Yeah, no, I didn't know it was. I didn't know where it was from.
Oh, well.
Huh. All right. Well, there you go. People know that. Apparently, it's something I am completely out of loop of because I never watched House. I didn't actually dive into that too much.
A lot. It's so basically whenever they try to diagnose someone, lupus is always brought up, and it's usually never lupus when they're trying to find what it is, and then like this one time it is, but I don't know. It's like throughout the whole show, it's like it's not lupus.
Kurt, can you think of any jokes in Final Fantasy XIV right now that stand out to you as was pretty lewd?
No, I can't. I don't know. I think so. The lewd ones to me make like an impact immediately, and then it's like you see it and then you forget it. Yeah. It's not like you might look at it and go like, you like keep going, right?
Like a good Reddit post, you just
yeah.
go, huh,
Yeah.
that's funny.
I
And you
think
just go
the
to
ones
the next
that
thing.
stick with you are probably not the lewd jokes. Like the recent, again, Beast Tribe one with the Mughals. You know, like I don't know, because they're making fun of the Mughals.
Oh, the
an
drunken
option.
Mughals. You know, that's kind of sad, too, to think about. Like, the Mughals are dealing with, like, alcohol abuse and everything else. But it's funny. They make it into a pretty funny light, and I like it a lot. Although I can't touch them because I don't have a level 50 crafter. I just get to hear about them. Sophie, do you have a 50 crafter?
I do, but I skipped the cutscenes to be honest.
Oh, with
the
Moogle Quest?
Yeah, I didn't actually
Oh.
read them or anything, so.
All right, so there's some cutscenes you should watch, and those were the ones that you should watch. So you kind of screwed up there, but it's all right.
I think I could go back. I think I'll be okay.
Do they put those in the book of lore?
I don't know. I assume they put everything there, but I guess they don't.
There's some things. I mean, I've done lore shows before, and I couldn't actually get recordings of some of the bits and pieces of the story because something was missing. I don't know if it was the cutscene itself or just text in between the cutscenes that I couldn't get.
I mean, somebody always puts it on YouTube, so that's what
True.
I figure. Just go there.
All right. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about what actually brings lewd jokes into games. It's a highly selling point, or highly selling point. That's so stupid. It's a huge selling point to actually throw in lewd jokes into your game, right? And so if you do it, you're going to get a lot of attention from people. People are going to like it, and more people are going to come play because they think, oh, this must be a more adult game. What do you guys think? That's my opinion, of course. What do you guys think is the reasoning that they put all these lewd jokes into the game? Is that pretty much just it?
Well, one of the things when my friends and I were first leveling in 14 specifically, it kind of like when we noticed that there were like kind of lewd jokes, kind of like tongue-in-cheek jokes, it kind of made us respect the localization of the game more. Because like oftentimes you'll play games and they get directly translated and it's like, it's very cut and dry, like, and some of it doesn't even make sense. But this like, the funny jokes and stuff, we were like, hey, like someone was sitting there like actually caring when they were translating this,
Right.
you know?
Well, I mean, and also when they're translating it, it might have not been lewd in Japanese.
Yeah.
And they turned it in to be lewd for the American audience because that's something that people like, and it will help sell the game a little bit more, I guess. Hey, look, we got Rose in the chat. There we go. We're just talking about her. Kerr, Do you think there's a good reasoning besides just trying to sell games that they put lewd jokes in there?
I think. I think when you're trying to go for a more adult audience, it's kind of good because it's kind of a nod at the adults, and kids can play this game too. And it probably just go over their heads, kind of like some of the Disney movies.
Right. Well, the Disney movies are rated like PG, right?
Yeah.
This is rated like teen or whatever.
Right. And then I don't know. I'm gonna say something else.
Okay.
I forgot.
Fair enough.
For me, Frosty. It's okay.
All right.
I forgive you.
What just happened here? I don't know what just happened. So anyways, yeah, with these lewd jokes, and I don't know, seeing it sometimes kind of, you get old. I don't know, does it get old? Do you guys get tired of it? Do you see a lewd joke and you're like, man, I don't need to hear it anymore?
If it's like over and over, there's the point where it's like too much, I think.
Yeah. I think you also just start ignoring it at some point, though.
Yeah.
Like, you can just kind of I mean, especially in a game, like, if you want to read something, you can. If you want to not care, you can just play the game. Like, you can kind of make that, like, conscious decision.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, you can just kind of bypass it. And there is actually some pretty decent writing, which is actually, it's funny, all the really good writing in the game usually gets overlooked in comparison to all the lewd things that are in the game, too. Like, Koji, I know, spends so much time trying to make sure that the game has some really good story to it, and the dialogue is that's probably why it's translated so well, is because he's on that team. God, I just need to talk to Koji. We need to get him in here one day and just have a big conversation about all the translations he does. But, yeah, no. Okay, so going forward with this is a sex sales kind of mentality. Do you think that if they didn't have lewd jokes in the game, that it would actually lose sales? No? It would be the same? People still play?
I don't think it's that type of game,
Yeah.
Like, there are those MMOs where you see the ads and it's like the super booby girl, and it's like, click on here, and like, yeah, maybe like there, like, that's what sells the game. Like, you see like the characters with like huge chest sliders and stuff, and like people like that. But this game isn't really marketed. I mean, it's a Final Fantasy game. I think that the lewd stuff is tongue-in-cheek and funny, but I don't think it sells the game that much more than it would.
Yeah. And people make things lewd anyway, with like Makote characters.
Yeah.
Such.
Okay, maybe cat girls do sell it.
Okay, cat girls probably do a lot of that, to be honest with you. Yeah, and they God, they that is over-sexualized. You can't get past that. Makotes are over-sexualized characters, right?
Hey, look at their history.
Yeah, I guess so. Tell everyone about their history real quick, Kerr.
Isn't it? Okay, I can't get this straight if it's like the other way around, but it's like every one female within the Makote tribe has like a ton of males.
No, it's the other. Well,
okay, it's the other way around.
I think the Seekers of the Moon might be a matriarchy, but I know the Seekers of the Sun have like one dude, and like all the girls like have sex. And if you actually go to the town in, I forget, I think it's central. No, it's southern Thanalan. The town in southern Thanalan, in the south of it, you can go around and talk to all the different like cat people, and like there are girls just like gossiping about like their sex experiences with like the big king dude, so it's funny.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
And that's awesome. And then you have Lalas, right? In comparison.
Yeah.
So you have Makotes, and then you go down the overly sexual, and then you go into Lalas, which is the least sexual thing that you could put in the game. Although, unless if you're on like Balmung, right? And then they're super sexual, I'm sure. But because everything there is super sexual, but that's okay. What server do you play on, Sophie?
I play on Gilgamesh, but I played on Balmung for like over a year, so
Are you very familiar with it all?
Oh, I'm very familiar with Balmung.
Okay, excellent. Then you're going to be able to help us out a little bit when we start talking about Balmung. I put them as a bullet point for our conversation today. Because when I actually posted a Reddit thread, and it's funny, that Reddit thread didn't do too well in like votes, but it had hundreds of people adding in lewd things to the context. And then like the previous day, or previous few days, there's that picture up there with like two Moogles and then like a super almost completely naked cat girl as the picture.
I was upvoted to hell.
It was the best. It was there for days. Yeah. And that's funny, and it's so much art that actually goes into the game, and all this fan art is actually around cat girls. How much would you say, if you had to just guess a percentage ballpark, how much fan art is cat girls versus anything else? Final Fantasy 14.
I don't know, maybe like 80%.
You'd say 80%?
Yeah,
So,
and then most of it's cat girls and Lalafels, honestly, because that's what people like. I don't know. A lot of people play cat girls and Lalafels. Like, you don't see Rogadines and Ellas in like fan art, no.
No.
And then humans are just humans, so they don't really like, when you see an art of them, unless they're wearing like specific gear, you don't really pick them out as like Final Fantasy 14. So yeah, people like to feature cat girls and Lalafels.
and that's awesome. Awesomely, I don't know why I said that was awesome. That's actually kind of, maybe that was my fanboy, oh yeah, I love seeing cat girls kind of thing coming out there for a second. No, what?
That's right. We have Ellazins too.
There are Ellisons, yeah.
Yeah.
You forget about it, don't you? And then I guess like the Ura, I feel like I say that wrong.
Oh, yeah.
They kind of get sort of semi-sexual, but then they have the horns and everything, so it's more of like they're part of the fetish kind of crowd, I guess, right? Although the cat girls would be in there too, but it's less weird.
They look more angry. I don't feel like they can be sexualized. People will find a way, but I don't know.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. Yeah, no, and my character is the most lewd, of course, of all. It's just a big Rogadin and a Moogle head. Completely covered up, 100%. I actually want to talk a little bit about glamour and how certain armor in the game kind of promotes ludity. Is that a word?
No.
Can I make it a word? Can I just say ludity?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, why not? Let's do it. And so, when you're leveling up your characters, there's a lot of, I guess, 50 Shades of Grey armor out there. Especially when you get into like the 30s or so. Did you guys notice that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, the developers. Okay. Do you think maybe the developers were thinking, yeah, this is cool armor?
I'm hoping that it's just something that carried over from 1.0.
Yeah, I'm not really
don't
sure.
know.
It does feel kind of random because
Yeah.
it feels like, I mean, in a lot of games they'll kind of start out a little naked and then you'll like get more clothes as you go, but it kind of goes from like clothed to like super naked to like clothed again. And then if you're a healer, you get the healer's coolouts, which is like the shortest skirt in the game.
Right.
So
Right. Yeah, I don't understand what happened. It's just like it was going kind of normal, like these plain clothes, and then all of a sudden just you get straps of leather, and that's your clothes. And what did you guys think the first time you saw that?
I think it was just funny for me. Like, my friend was playing a bard, and I think that, like, obviously Disciples of War are the ones that end up with the Sublagars. And he put them on, was like, guys, come over here. This is so funny. Look at my outfit. And it was like, we all had a good laugh about it. So maybe it is, like, a little bit of comic relief as you're hitting a grindy-ish part in the game.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't think too much of it, I guess. I just thought it looked kind of stupid. I can't wait until I get the next piece of gear, but...
I mean, that could be part of, like, the system, right? You're just like, all right, you got gear. Oh, well, I got to get more gear because I got to get something that doesn't look so effing ridiculous. All right, and then you get into some of the most recent gear with, like, the lore tank gear.
I don't like, what is lewd about that? Sorry, I haven't,
think
like...
it's
Did you
just
not
the
see it?
chest area.
It's just, I mean, yeah, it, like, goes like that, but, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, so if you look at it, it's pretty much the hole just right here. I don't know, maybe on a female character it looks different, but on a male character it's just a giant piece of chest. And it's just awkward, right?
It's
Yeah.
weird.
I mean, for the female characters, it stops, like, right above the nipples, almost. But maybe
Right,
not
just
that
like
far.
right, that's
not
still,
that far,
I mean,
but
most of the gear
it
gear's right
shows
there.
a lot of cleavage.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know.
Sophie, you really didn't, like, notice that was kind of a little awkward?
I don't know. I mean, I noticed it, but I don't really play tank or any. I don't know. I
Yeah.
was just like,
Okay.
that's interesting. And most of the ones that I saw, I mostly saw it on characters that I didn't. Maybe I didn't see it on a cat girl or something because I haven't seen any like actual cleavage. It was just like,
All
oh,
right.
it dips a little low or
Give me
something.
a second. I'm
Okay.
gonna look this up.
Okay.
Ifrit, Final Fantasy 14 tank gear. Let's see if it shows up. I think I gotta call it lore or something. I got it. I have to find it. Because it's so awkward to me that you're just like, I don't really notice it. It's not a big thing. What's it called? It's called like, just lore gear?
Basically, yeah, right?
Let me try to look it up too.
Alright, I can't
I think
see.
it's called Hellfire.
Hellfire.
Um,
Okay.
found
Hellfire chest piece. Oh, not Final Fantasy. Not WoW. Here we go.
Yeah, Hellfire armor offending.
Alright, this isn't like the best picture of it, but this is a picture of it. And so I'm going to just post it here and put it in the chat. And that's something you can kind of see a little bit. Like, it just comes down really far. Like, unnecessary. I mean, I guess it's not super lewd, but it's like...
Yeah, I mean, I see what you mean. It's just,
It's not lewd enough.
I guess I didn't really see it as lewd because, like, it wasn't like, oh yeah, look at that man chest window, you know? Like, I just first thought of it as like kind of weird looking, I guess.
Yeah, it's awkward. It's just, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. It feels awkward. It doesn't look like clothing. It looks like clothing and then someone cut it out.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it does look better on the female characters, though. I feel like
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe it's just really weird for guys and they just didn't model it properly
it's
for them.
like showing your heart to the enemy. Like, why would you leave that
Yeah.
open?
Well, I mean, maybe they also wanted it to be not awkward because there's a lot of gear, like especially in WoW, they would make gear that looks like super manly tank gear, and then when it's on like a female character, it turns into like a bra and panties. So maybe they just wanted to change that, and so like, oh yeah, we have big cleavage spot here. Let's do it for guys too. Make sure they have the big cleavage spot as well.
Maybe.
I don't
see
know.
that.
All right, so let's talk about actually limiting it. Do you guys think they need to limit it anymore? And just like, does it make the game a little bit less serious? Like you can't take it as serious because it's in the game, or do you think it's perfectly fine the way it is?
Limiting what? The lewd?
Lewd, just lewd in
Okay.
general. Like, should they like minimize it a little bit more, or should they increase it more, or should they just leave it at the perfect balance that you guys might think it is at?
I think it's all right how it is. I mean, it doesn't seem excessive by any means. There's no time where I've been like, oh, this game needs to really take a step back and calm down. It's like it's very like an every once in a while sort of thing, you know? It kind of feels like a gem when you find something you're like, ha, that's funny, or like you see it on Reddit or something, you know?
Yeah, so far I guess it's tasteful, but
Tasteful?
it's just
I don't know if you can put
interesting that
lewd and
they-
tasteful like in the same
like,
sentence.
all right, well, I mean, it's just interesting when you see it that they'd go that far, and it's always, you know, like we said earlier, it's unexpected. So it's not like bad.
They
It's
kind of
not
like hide
overdo
it. So
Yeah.
Like, again, Shrek level stuff, right? They're just kind of like putting it there, but
But
only...
like even stuff like not just like, oh, only adults would see it, but like I miss out on like a lot of the stuff. Like I'll go on Reddit and see like people will be like, look at what the Lalafels and the Golden Saucer are saying. And I'm like, what? I was what they, you know? So like if you gotta look for it, you know?
Right.
Sometimes.
Oh yeah, just the other day we were doing Nidhogg, and someone was like, yeah, I noticed there's a fin under his legs, like between his legs. And I thought that was pretty funny that he would mention that, because on Reddit just a few days ago they were saying something, oh look, there's a sheaf, the dragon has a sheaf modeled on him, and just right between Nidhogg's legs is a nice little line there. Do you not believe me, Sophie?
No, wait, I just have a different I have something because I don't want to say this without without an image that I'm gonna post in the chat, because there's, so you know the oppressor in 8S, you know how it starts out
Right.
or A8 in general, it starts out as that thing, and I can't even find a picture of it, but it has stuck with me so much because I mean this obviously isn't something that's lewd by the game, it's something that was kind of created, but when we went in there, my friend, the first thing he said was, "We're fighting 4 dildos and a butt plug," and I was like, it really does look
Okay.
like it if you look at it." But I don't even have a picture of it now, so now I seem weird.
Okay, no, it's fine. Chat, find us a picture. I believe in you
Of
guys.
like the original form of the oppressor, like when you go in, it's like
Okay.
Okay, so not when he has legs. No, yeah.
it's like when he has leg, and then like the middle thing, and then yeah,
Let's see if
Like
it's
the spider-looking one with 4 legs, whatever.
yeah.
Okay, I
Is
got you.
it? I'll put in chat.
Okay, wait, let me see this. No, that's not it. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe it's not called the oppressor. I don't know. It's the
You
one when
mean,
you first go into A8.
A8. A8. Okay, so not the oppressor.
Okay.
The
What is it
whatchamacallit.
called?
I forget what it's called. There's plenty of people on there.
Onslaughter. Is it
yeah.
Onslaughter?
Yeah, I think
That
that's
might
it.
be it. Onslaughter. Okay, pictures aren't showing up. Never mind.
Maybe it's marked as too crude, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, I guess you could kind of see that. I didn't think that immediately. You know, what's funny is like, Skoro, you gotta ask for permission, man. Yeah, that's kind of a picture of it. It's a blurry,
Far away.
blurry, far away picture, but yeah, that's definitely a picture of it. But yeah, no, I see that. I can see that. I easily can see that, but I don't think that was one of the intentional things. I mean, when you go into the new 24 man, Weeping City, and Ethis was making that joke the entire time last when we were doing a show on Weeping City about going into Ozma, and it's called the Glory Hole.
Yeah.
And that never snapped in my mind. I never thought, oh yeah, Glory Hole, haha, yeah, that's what it means. But apparently that's what everybody else sees when they go to it. Could you guys think that might be what they meant, or is that just a weird name that kind of just sounded exactly the same?
I mean, it's technically like the glory hole. Like, there's no H, you know? I think people
Right.
just kind of made that up to be funny, which it is funny, but, like, I don't think it was intended.
Yeah.
I mean, going into the whole player side of making things lewd, it's pretty deep. There are a lot of people out there who try really hard to make everything impossible lewd. For example, when Shiva came out, I've never seen anything abbreviated with just whatever the first letter of the primal is, then X after. But it was just called sex. You guys want to go do sex? You guys want to go Shiva Extreme? Let's go have sex, guys. Let's do a sex. Let's get sex out of the way. Let's go hard at sex. You know, it's just ridiculous. And it was everywhere for a while. And I just kind of had to roll my eyes every single time that I saw it.
That's an
'Cause-
example of it becoming too much.
yeah, and then it's like, what are you guys, like 10? And you just found your first Playboy, and you're just like, oh man, this is the funnest thing in the world. Is to make sex jokes all day long.
Yeah, somebody said on your thread that the glory hole it means the halo is circle of light. So
But they had to have catched that when they were making the name, that they would sound kind of like that, right?
I mean, I think, I don't know, kind of like you said, I think people kind of just make the sex jokes on their own. Like, I think people kind of turn it into that. I didn't even see, like, when I went into the Ozma thing, that's one of the ones that I don't think is that funny. It's like, you know, whatever.
Yeah. And when we talk about the other primals, again, to go on that point, it would always Lev X or remove X. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm one of those guys who don't abbreviate every single thing because I didn't get into Twitter until, like, I started streaming, right? And so abbreviating stuff just didn't make sense to me. I could type it probably faster than I could think of an abbreviation for it. For example, when people just say the letter U, that drives me insane. I don't know what it is, but I just can't take it. It needs to be just YOU.
well, it used to be used a lot more when we still had like T9 texting and stuff because it was
Yeah.
just easier versus typing out YOU. And I used to type like that
guess.
too through text, but now it's like you have an iPhone, it's like whatever, it's easy. But
Yeah.
When you had to click, like, a number, like, multiple times. Yeah.
exactly.
Okay, I can kind of see that, but for some reason I always felt like if I didn't type it properly, that I'd look like an idiot. I don't know.
Well, aren't you elitist?
I'm an elitist typist.
Really,
What can I tell you?
though? I think there's a difference between abbreviating a 3-letter word and like an entire instance, you know? Like I'm not gonna call it like Alexander, the Fist of the Sun or whatever, you know? Like
Right.
I prefer
No.
having the abbreviation.
No,
Same.
T9, that makes sense. I can see that. Like, that's an abbreviation, saves time, it makes sense. I'm not going to call it, like, I'm not going to spell out the entire name. I forget what the whole name is for that when we talk about that in general, too. But something you type every single day, like, I don't know, you just doesn't sound like something that saves much time on a keyboard, at least. There's other abbreviations that just drive me insane. What were some other ones? You know how long it took me to figure out what SMH meant?
Shaking my head.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
didn't know what that one meant.
I thought it was so much hate. I thought it was. I don't know. I just made up things in my head. I'm like, what's SMH? What is this? But if you just said, I guess shaking my head doesn't make sense. LOL, that doesn't make any sense if you type that out. Maybe we should. I'm just gonna start doing that instead of saying LOL. I'm just gonna say laughing out loud.
I mean, I think people say like "ha ha," you know.
Yeah.
Or
I used
I say
to-
haha. Ha
I used to have a classmate in high school who'd just go around the school and go like lol, lol, lol.
Yeah,
It
that's
was
always
annoying.
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like someone like going out in school and just saying, "Hey, guys, I'm cool. I'm into all the geeky stuff. I'm awesome. LOL. Ha ha. LOL. I'm into it, guys." I don't know. That seems like an attention thing to me, but I'm a horrible old judgmental man. So what can I say? All right. So the other things, there's some other little neat things within the game. I like to call it neat. I want to show you guys a picture here. And you guys can tell me if you guys think that this is funny or if this is just completely stupid. Where's my interwebs? Oh my god, where is it? There it is. Interwebs.
What?
Oh no, that's defending stuff. I already went there. I don't need to show you defending stuff anymore. Actually, I already had a link saved for that. And right here. Holy crud. Never mind. Google doesn't like me anymore. I'm just going to type it here.
All
You guys
right.
can look at it.
What are we looking at?
Just the text from the Makote on the left.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty damn straight direct, right?
That's direct.
Yeah.
That isn't even like, hey, this is kind of just funny. This is like, oh, I like to go on hard. It turns me on with a fellow adventurer. All right, I gotcha. I get exactly what you're saying here.
She just likes to accompany adventurers while they fight things, going hard.
And that just turns her on. I mean,
Turns on
that's
her magical powers.
Her magical
Yeah.
powers.
Exactly.
What are you thinking?
I mean, this is just like, this isn't even like undertext stuff. This is stuff, if you read it, there's no other way to interpret turning me on, all right? Unless if you're a robot, right?
She's a warrior of light. It turns on her
Yeah.
light, Like,
Yeah. Dirty mind.
yeah.
I guess so. Grow up, Frosty.
Seriously.
Wrong with
Going hard at the, questing. And
All right. And so the other one, there's another one here that I have that I'm going to type in here, and you guys can look that one up. Is that the same one? Hopefully that's not the same one. Then I look really stupid.
It's not part of it, is it?
Oh, God.
oh yeah, I remember that. I've done that fade, but
The
that
butt
one's
one.
that one's a little undertexted. I mean that
Yeah.
clearly.
Okay, let's just read this out loud. The guy is of the spiked butt, all right? One of the first things he says is, "This is a pitiful display. This pitiful display will prove not to my brothers. Come harder." All right, good. Very, very small lewd there. "Like the surging waters of the mighty Corthorus, I come." All right, I get it. All right, so we're talking about, or you're coming somewhere. Someone needs to go at you there. "Like the majestic Corthian Puther, I swell." Like, what do you swell? All right. And then here is "with a spear as stiff as ice I thrust." Okay, so this is like someone created this this fate to be completely as lewd as possible. Do you think there's a department lead in the translation team that's just make things lewd? Like somebody's little brother, he just comes in, he's just like, "I got it. Don't worry. thrust, penetration.
Maybe they've had this idea in writing for a while. It's wanted to put it in. I don't know.
I mean, maybe it was written another way and someone read it kind of funny and then they were like, maybe we could keep running with this, like they wrote the first slide and then it was like, oh, we could keep that going. I mean, it is like nice. I mean, when you're doing fates, especially, fates are
kind of, yeah, no, okay, that makes a perfect point, Sophie. That's the perfect point. Is that sometimes when you're doing fates, it's boring as hell. Right? You're doing repetitive quests. You're doing things that you don't want to do anymore. How do you spice it up and make it stand out a little bit and just so it's a little bit more enjoyable? You throw in some dirty jokes.
Yep.
All right. So it's not that bad when you see it, especially when it's in the game. It's kind of nice because these are fake NPC players that you don't really care about anyways, right?
Yeah.
All right. But when it's actual players coming up to you in Balmung, which let's go ahead and talk about it. Sophie, tell me your experiences on Balmung.
I have a lot of experiences on Balmung. I led a pretty big FC, and people would often come to me with their problems that were often roleplay related. And so I ran into a lot of stuff because we weren't like a roleplay FC, but people had they would still like have problems, I guess. I've told this story a couple of times on my stream, but we had one person who was a person of interest in the FC because a lot of female characters came to me and said that he had roleplay raped them and that they were uncomfortable, and like it became a huge issue. So I had to decide, like, it was just like, why don't you just stop roleplay with him then? But like apparently that wasn't like the answer. That's just one of the examples. I mean, people would just like have all kinds of problems related to their relationships with people and role playing. It was crazy stuff.
Okay, so that actually gets kind of intense when you talk about that too. Is that something you could report someone for?
I mean, like, when you're role-playing, you can role-play a killer, but you're not actually killing any, Like, I don't know. Or if someone's crossing a line with you, you just stop role-playing with them, I would think. But that apparently wasn't... I don't know. I didn't really get the situation, but it was multiple people, so we ended up kicking him because it was like, I don't know.
Right.
That's
Maybe you get so into it, you try to, like, role-play out of it.
Roleplay out of it.
But, like...
Just say you murder them. Done. I don't know why you're moving anymore.
Yeah. Like, I don't know.
When they talk to you, do they have to say like OOC in front of it? Or anything like that?
I mean, we were in a role-playing guild, so people, I mean, I personally was not a role player. I just, like, people would come to me and be like, I don't want this guy around anymore because I was role-playing and this, and this happened, and it was like, oh, okay. And you'd have to, like, deal with that. Or I would have people from other FCs come to me and be like, I was role-playing and your FC members interrupted it. And I'd be like, oh, all right.
Oh, wow.
Deal with that.
So, yeah, it's tough because there's not an RP kind of, like, emblem or something attached to that server. It's not like saying this is your dedicated... It's unofficial. All that stuff's unofficial, so people can do whatever they want. Like, wow, they had actual RP servers. Like, you go in there and you have to RP, and if you try to, like, get out of that, then you could actually be banned for it.
Yeah. I think we need that. I think Balmung should be tagged as roleplay, because, like...
And then offer free transfers, right? For a short time away into Balmung. Yeah, I think that would actually be a really good idea. Right now, the servers are kind of a mess with population and everything else, but that's a completely different discussion. It's not lewd enough to talk about that, I guess. So, do you have any other stories from Balmung that just completely stand out besides, serial RP rapist?
I mean, I had walked in on a couple different, like, I had a couple raid members who were erotically role-playing in their FC room, and people walked in on them, which was, I mean, people just were, like, it's not, like, people joke about it, and it's not, like, everything that's going on. I mean, it's a huge server. There are plenty of people who aren't role-playing, but there definitely is a lot of it going on all the time, and you just, like, it's happening in Say Chat, and you walk by people, and people are just like, or you go into Party Finder, and There was this one like Rogadine female who was like looking for Lalas to like sit with me and feed me cookies, and she literally wanted a Lalafell to sit there and like hand her cookies and like talk to her about like the delicious. It was really, really weird. And it was very serious, not like a joke.
I can't see that as anything but a joke.
Yeah.
You think it is, but this like because I replied to that particular party finder as a joke, and the person contacted me every day for about a month, like, and because my character is a Lalafell, and they were like, "Oh, can I have hugs?" And, like, all that stuff. I was like, "Whoa, it's a little weird."
Oh my,
So,
oh my
Wow.
goodness. Okay, all right. So,
I remember
go-
Zeno, he was streaming one time, and then I think somebody in his FC actually posted something in the FC chat that's supposed to be for a link show. And it was very like ERP.
are
something.
there
It was-
ERP link shells out there?
oh yeah.
Oh, I'm sure there is. And it was pretty bad. I don't remember what it was, but it was pretty funny.
It's so hard for me to separate that from being a complete joke and something that's actually serious and people want in the game as something that's serious. Because I don't see that in other. I guess it might exist in other MMOs, and I just don't see it. Does Final Fantasy XIV just have a surplus of players who are into that kind of stuff?
I'm gonna have different people though, and these people form groups, make things that they want.
I mean, I think people do it in all. I mean, everybody knows about like the World of Warcraft. Like, there's that one inn or whatever where everybody like is doing it. But like, I think it happens in all games, and people go to Balmung because they know that it's kind of accepted, and there are link shells and FCs that literally revolve around erotic role playing, and people will join them and everything. Like once someone does something, they're bound to find someone else who's thinking the same thing and comes along, and that just kind of is like a domino effect, you know?
Yeah, and they kind of just make their own community out of that. So it's a sense of belonging, I guess, in a weird way.
Okay. I gotcha. All right. Kids, they do whatever they want these days. I don't care. All right. So, and how are you? Are you guys like completely against people doing that, or you're like people do whatever they want?
People can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Okay. Cool. As long as it doesn't, mess with you, right? As long as they don't come to you and say, "Hey, you want to go to this in room with me real quick?"
Well, they can try. I'll just say no. You
Yeah.
know, like I don't really care.
It'd be
It's not
funny,
like if
right?
someone was like, "Yo, you want to come to this in room?" I wouldn't be like, "You're the weirdest person." I wouldn't like shun them, but I'd be like, "No, no, thank you."
Okay, so one of the interesting facts is there's actually some controversy back in the day, I think in the early 3.0 series, and we all know Harchafont, right? His whole story and everything else. The JP version was a lot friendlier. I don't actually have all the JP dialogue, but from what I understand, he was infatuated with your character, right? He loved your character. So, and they took a lot of that stuff out. Yoshi was really upset about it. Do we need a character in there that's like deeply in love, making sexual jokes at us all the time? Or is that too weird for the American community?
Well, I want to know exactly what they said.
Okay.
Yeah.
If someone in chat has a link to kind of the character he was in the JP servers, I would appreciate it. Just like context for like all kinds of chats and everything else. But from what I heard, he was a lot more flamboyant, and it was good. Why not?
I think I don't know why they would remove that as long as it was nothing like really weird. I don't know. Like, I think it maybe would make things like more intense for people if like because like I don't know. I personally didn't feel that connected to Horchefont. So
Yeah, especially in the
Yeah.
English version, at least.
yeah.
Yeah. Did you read the cutscenes though, Sophie?
I did. I mean, I'm kind of a skimmer, but like I still like I know the characters, and I watch the voice acted ones. Basically.
The important ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try to keep up with it if I can. It just like the main story quests I try to follow and things that I think I might be interested in. Like the Hildebrandt stuff. Why else would you do it? Besides, I guess if you want little items and stuff, but
yeah, and there's like the mentor roulette that you have to do it for, which
Right.
I kind of don't like, but
Oh, really?
well, I don't know. I know it's unpopular opinion, but personally, the Hildebrandt quests, they're not really my type of humor, I guess. When I've done them, I've read them, I've watched them, and I didn't find it that funny. I got why people did find it funny, and I'm obviously not against it. I think it's a cool addition to the game, but I really didn't have any interest in continuing on with them, and I had to unlock the roulette, and I was just kind of skipping, and you know.
So, what is your type of humor then, Sophie?
I don't know. I just know that I didn't find them that funny. I guess I just have like a drier sense of humor. It was very like flamboyant, in your face humor, and
Right.
that never really, like, when things try to be really funny, I never really find them that funny, I guess.
Oh, okay. So you like just kind of people talking and saying just really horrible things in a very monotone voice.
Not
Right.
necessarily. That's
Okay.
like trying to be edgy funny. I don't know. I just don't like comedy.
Oh, you don't like comedy? Okay.
And this is when it gets awkward because people ask me if I don't like smiling, and that's not, I don't
you
know.
like smiling,
I find it a
Sophie?
little over the top.
Okay, I got it. I'm torturing you right now. I saw a couple too many smiles there. So, all right, Moogle Mail. Did you guys do any of the Moogle Mail quest? Nope.
I
Did.
meant to because I want the hat, but
Oh, right. It's something about delivering something for Haft, right?
Yeah, Haft.
God Haft.
Yeah, something. There was a lot of just like little sexual jokes. Did you play Final Fantasy? Not Final Fantasy. Did you play World of Warcraft, Sophie, at all?
yes, but like I played like till max level recently, so I don't know if that's
Oh,
like
okay. So you missed a lot. There was this whole line of quest in, I think it was the Lich King, or after the Lich King one. You're in like this ice place and there's giants, and the entire thing was polishing the helm and stroking the shaft, and that was just all of the entire daily quest line. You had to see it every single day. All these just joking sexual quests. Apparently that exists a lot within the Moogle Mail quest, and I don't know.
there's an AI chocobo in chocobo racing named Polish Mast, and I really regret not naming my chocobo that out of the
There's a lot of like very intended sexual puns in the Chocobo names when doing
Oh yeah,
racing.
it's hilarious.
I had to get. I didn't have to. I wanted to get max level with rank and breed and everything else with my Chocobo, and beat all the stuff and get the easy MGP from that, right? But some of those names, it's really hard. Like they had, what was it? Something about Yellow Storm, or what was it? Yellow Rain. It was something weird like that. They just had all kinds of little weird, goofy names in there. And that's why I think I want to know. I want to see a list of all the people who actually do the translations and the writing for the NA community, just so I can see if there is someone who is literally 14 years old and a 14-year-old boy writing these things. There has to be. There has to be. Maybe that's the 14-year-old boy in all of us that want to come out every once in a while, and that's how they do it. That's their vent.
Probably.
Probably.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Let's go back to one other thing about Balmung. Is there rude PF listings like all the time? Like all the time, not rude, but lewd PF listings. Like,
It's pretty common, yeah.
can you
Not
like?
all the time, but like I don't know. I did a lot of like when you see something that is lewd, sometimes you kind of go along with it just to see if the person is serious or not. And as an example, there was one for a link shell that was like, I guess like lewd focused, and it was called like pink handcuffs and like chains or something. I don't know. It was something like BDSM-y. And it literally was people just talking about sex and then like finding other people to then privately message like really, and then I just had that link shell in my link shells for a while, and I just randomly being doing Sestasha and like reading about like people having sex, and it was like really weird but kind of entertaining. And
So is it people actually just having a conversation about it, or was it like, I forget what the term is, where people simulate trying to have sex through text? What is it called?
like cybering.
Yeah, cybering. Is that what it was?
I think you were supposed to take it to. It was like people try to find cyber like interested in the same thing partners basically, and then like taking it to private.
Okay.
It was very interesting.
Yeah.
Whew. All right. All right, good stuff. All right, so I was thinking about let's go to the next topic, so we can kind of level this out from all the lewd. But I was like, that's what the show's about, I guess. All right, so let's take it to a little bit more of a serious side of this. There's a lot of stuff in this game that's extremely dark, and it consists of sex in it. Like, there's lots of if you go to Satasha, there's a room with lots of Makotes, I think, just sitting there saying, I have no dignity left, and all this other stuff. It goes into that whole dark side of the game, and it adds a lot of grit to it. So to me, I'm like, when we talk about something serious like rape and all that other stuff, my blood boils and I get really angry, and I don't know if that's just a reaction that was kind of built in me through everything that I've heard and everything else. I mean, that's something everybody should feel, I guess. They should hate that kind of stuff. But when you see that in the game, it adds a lot of emotional impact. Do you think that it's a good thing they have this in the game, or should they kind of PC it down a little bit?
I mean, I guess it makes it a little more intense, and I don't know, it gets you a little more into it to some extent if it's something that people would have an emotion about,
Right. I don't know. Maybe it adds to the immersion. Well,
Yeah.
just outrage kind of sells, I guess, as well as sex.
Right.
So making people angry.
Yeah, adding this stuff to the story, I feel is actually good for them to get people emotionally involved in the story. Even if it's not directly in there. When they kill a character, that makes everybody have serious reactions to it. When they fake kill a character, it kind of limits that. We all know the example of the fake kills that they have done in the game. But you start to feel a little bit emotional. You get kind of serious about it. And that's why I guess they didn't fake kill some of the people at the end of this storyline. And a lot of people were kind of sad about that. Sophie, again, I'm assuming you watched the cutscenes. I don't know. Maybe you didn't.
I did. Did I? Oh, geez.
Yeah, you totally went crazy.
I did.
Your icon is
Sorry.
mostly hair.
I love it.
My webcam has been wonky.
It's all right.
I can get it working again.
I believe in you. I believe in you.
Hello. Okay, it's all weirdly zoomed out and bright.
Oh, now it looks like you
hello.
went to the 90s webcam.
I know. Why is it so bad?
I don't know.
Oh God. Sorry. My
That's
webcam
fine.
has been really awful lately. So
Did you do something to it? Did you throw it, or
yeah, I threw it exactly.
had someone came in and said some lewd jokes that you didn't like, and you just threw your webcam and you're just I'm done. I'm never streaming again. I'm out of this.
Okay, it should be better now.
Yeah.
Ish.
Oh, it's good. It's good. And we've been all over the place during the show so far, by the way. And Sophie, I don't know if you've ever known how long our shows go on. We go on for usually an hour or two normally. Okay. So you're still doing good. Oh, you have watched my show.
Yeah.
Okay. I still am in that mode where I assume anyone who's ever been on the show or just doesn't know what MogTalk is. It's just kind of this little side thing that I do, and I have fun because I get to meet and talk to lots of cool people. Like yourself, Sophie. Like yourself. How long have you been streaming?
3 years.
3 years?
Not Final Fantasy, but I've been streaming on Twitch probably 4 years actually, because I streamed on Justin TV too.
Okay, I gotcha. When did you start streaming Final Fantasy 14?
In January.
January. So you've only been kind of here for 6-7 months or so.
Mm-hmm.
I gotcha. Yeah. Again, the thing that stood out the most was just that turtle, and I'm really just. It's all right. I'm gonna get over it. It's gonna be something else.
What are you gonna do? Steal it?
I can't steal it. It doesn't exist. I don't. Where do I get it from?
Yeah.
I mean, God. Sorry.
You know it's a Skype emoji, right?
Is it a Skype emoji?
Yeah, it's a Skype emoji. So if you wanted to cut it out yourself and
Okay. Maybe
make
I'll
it
do that.
transparent and all that, but
I didn't know. I've never seen it before.
oh, okay.
I don't use. The only thing I use Skype for is this. I don't use Skype for anything
I'll
else.
Skype you the turtle just the emoji sometime, and then maybe you can figure it out.
Maybe I can. I don't know.
So the backstory to this is that I have a nickname for him.
Oh.
I don't know if you want. Well, I
don't
call him
care.
Turtle Penguin since the beginning of our relationship.
Isn't that adorable,
So
right?
he's
Cute.
that's why he was like Turtle. I was like, that's perfect because it's turtle. But anyway.
Now everybody knows my secrets in life, and they're gonna make fun of me for it. That's okay. All right. So let's carry on here. I want to bring up another little example here. You guys did the fate, I'm assuming, in Costa del Sol about the cute custodian. Or how do you say that? Am I saying that completely wrong? Custodian? Cute custodian.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Like,
back me up.
it's like, you know, the hooker.
Yeah, the hooker. Exactly. I mean,
yeah.
So
She's
right.
like a consort.
Yeah, exactly. And so a lot of people don't realize at the very end of it, it is actually referring to a lot of just real sexual things, and it pretty much blatantly tells you just helped someone get a lady of the night.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's the courtesan. Yeah, it's
Courtesan.
not a custodian. That's like a janitor.
So yeah, janitor, the cute custodian. Okay, thank you. I knew something didn't sound right in my head, and I do this all the time. Is I pronounce things horribly, and this time I really messed it up because I was saying the cute janitor. It's okay, not bad. I guess she is. I'm not going to get into it. We're not going to go there. Anyways, did you guys realize what was going on in that quest the first time you did it?
Well,
Yeah.
I think I went back the second time. The first time I probably just left after I got my experience and was on full fate grind mode. But at some point, I noticed what was going on when you actually watch like what happens after you help her get to her destination.
Oh man, both of them died out.
Did everything go off?
Maybe because of the time limit.
No, the time
That's only
limit's
been
4
an hour.
hours. Yeah. Oh man, everything's gone. Hold on, Sophie's fixing it on her end, and then Kerr's fixing it. There we go. Maybe, and now I need to fix mine too. Hold on, now it's
Yeah,
all
yours
real.
is gone too.
All right, here we go. I fixed it.
That was weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Skype's having issues or something, because everything else is working fine.
Now
I-
it's like just my. That's really pointed weirdly.
Yeah, it was really odd. I fixed it though. It's good. It's good now.
Okay, good.
All right, there we go. Yeah, I think Skype's having issues because I mean, if it was something that was like we're having issues with the internet or anything, I'd be seeing drop frames and other things going on. But we're good.
Okay.
All right. And then we have the Silver Bazaar in Drybone, and there are two obvious prostitutes hanging out with a guy warning you about crotch rot.
Yeah, I didn't know about that one.
It's everywhere. I'm just gonna go through a couple of these real quick. All right, so crotch rot. Let's pull up this wonderful post that I have here, and you guys can look at it and see some of the other stuff in there. Of course, I have to warn you not to upvote or downvote anything on there because that would get Reddit hating me.
You have an O every time.
Yeah, I don't know why there's an O in front of it every single time. Oh, because I have it bullet pointed, and so it's throwing that in the front of it.
Oh, gotcha.
All right, so let's do this real quick. Stroking the half. Yeah, that was one of the jokes in there. Okay, here we go. Let me post this link out for you guys. Boom. All right, so this is one that's happening. It's just a couple of ladies talking to someone. Is it true what they say about sea wolves and your gilded scepters? Why don't you find out?
Oh.
Nice, right?
Huh.
Good. All right, so let's keep going down that list. Holy crud. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I can't seem to keep anything straight in my Chrome right now. Everything's just, like, all over the place. Maybe it's my big command center thing that I'm doing, where like everything's just everywhere and I'm just messing everything up.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I really like never really noticed this stuff. It's pretty detailed, I guess. There's a lot more than I thought. Like,
Yeah, I mean that's funny. Okay, so let's talk about that a little bit. There's a lot of stuff that you guys don't even realize that's in the game, and it just kind of bypasses you. Is that because we don't pay attention to it, or because it's so subtle that it's really hard to actually find? Do you guys just like ignore half the stuff that's said in there, or you just...
I mean, there's a lot of things that are like in actual NPC conversation, but then like there are these characters throughout the game that you have to walk up to and you don't even know that they're gonna say something and then they do. And then that's where a lot of these come from. But like I don't know, you don't really think to just like walk up to the what just look like aesthetic NPCs and like listen to what they're saying, which is kind of the
Right.
funny part of it, I guess.
Yeah. It's
I mean,
supposed to make it
even
feel more alive, I guess.
yeah,
Yeah.
and even now people are like finding new ones every day and they put it on Reddit because like, I mean, when we play the game, we just want to do quests, get through it, level up, etc. And then you go back and maybe find all this stuff. So I don't know. I think the average player just doesn't really see it all.
Mm-hmm. I gotcha. All right. So average player being me or you or not someone that's ERPing on Balmung, right? Okay. All right. Let's look a little bit more here. Let's see. You know, a lot of this stuff is just mentioning things. I think you guys, if you want to, you can go through this thread and you can look at all the very lewd things in the game. There's, I think, 100 posts on it or something. So there's plenty of content for you guys if you want to see lewd stuff in Final Fantasy XIV. Let's go down to this next part. I really didn't have too much more to say on the subject, to be honest with you. Besides just wondering if you guys think there is any way to put like a better balance on it, but I think we've already kind of hit on that a little bit, so we don't really talk about it too much. Do you guys have anything about lewdness that you would want to talk about right now?
I don't know if I can think of anything that we haven't really gone over in regards to the game and games in general.
Okay, I gotcha.
Right. I don't know. There's only so much you can talk about with. You can take it further, but I mean.
We can just sit here and make lewd jokes for the rest of the day if you guys want to. Make horrible lewd jokes. I mean, I can also ask you guys. I might have a different perspective than you guys. Maybe I don't. Do you feel that if you're a guy or a girl playing the game, that you have a different perspective on what's lewd and what's not, and if things get old or tiring a little bit sooner for you guys than it does for me?
uh,
I think it depends on your personality.
yeah.
I don't go by gender roles.
Okay. I gotcha. No
Yeah.
gender roles. All right. The only reason I bring that up, and this is getting into just deep society stuff, I guess, like when you start talking about things like that, when you grow up as a girl, you grow up as a guy, you have different things happen in your life and people treat you differently. And so that molds you in a different way. It's not because you're a guy or a girl. It's just because the society and all treats you differently. And those experiences mold you a little bit differently. Or am I crazy?
I think I mean, I think this gets into a pretty philosophical talk about gendering and growing up and
Yeah.
all
But yeah.
that. But
Yeah, it does happen. I mean.
yeah, of course.
Yeah. And I think today, I mean, like in life in general, outside of Final Fantasy XIV, for some reason we're going towards that, is, you know, it's becoming different. People are kind of getting out of all this stuff where you identify as one thing or another. You're a person, you're human, and I think that's what it should be, right?
Right. Because, like, for example, with the growing up thing, like, I know a lot of guys get embarrassed about voice cracking or whatever when they talk. It just happens. But, like, I don't know, growing up, I didn't really, like, girls don't really have that problem, right? So I didn't really, like, think much of it when it happened to a dude. I was just like, all right, whatever. But,
Well, it's a
guys
puberty
will
thing
make
for
fun of each
guys.
other for it. What?
I think for girls, like I think girls have voice crack things too sometimes,
We
but
do.
like the whole thing is like if your voice goes higher as a girl, it's like not seen as weird. Where it's
Yeah.
if like a guy's voice goes higher, it's like, oh dude, your voice is so high, you know? Like,
Yeah.
What a loser.
basically, yeah.
Oh, come on, guys. No, yeah, no, I've been there a lot. I mean, and that's, people will make fun of you when you're growing up and you're like, oh, your voice is cracking. And, you know, sometimes you can see it as a good thing. It's like, oh yeah, I'm growing up. Awesome. But when you get like a certain age, you're like, what, dude? Are you still in puberty? What's going on? Are you not? And that's where it all kind of breaks up. But that's a natural thing. My voice cracks today. I know my wonderful voice that you guys love hearing. You can't imagine it cracking or sounding stupid, right? But no, it does.
I think one thing that's kind of interesting, if we're bringing this back to Final Fantasy, is that
Do
like
it, Sophie. Bring us back.
one of the things about me playing the game is because I play a Lalafell, I don't really get people making passes at me. I think that people who play cat girls or like, you know, blow up doll looking midlanders like will get that like, ooh, dude coming up to them in an MMO and being weird and all that. But like people just pet my head regardless. Like nobody like hits on the Lalafell, you know? So
So you think if you play a Lalafell, it's actually probably the best role for like someone who doesn't want to be harassed?
Yeah, I mean, people don't just like randomly. I mean, some people do, but it's less kosher to randomly sexualize a potato, you know? So,
It's not kosher to touch on potatoes. Yeah, no, I got
I
it.
mean, on our server, it seems like the Lalas just kind of group up together and do lewd things at each other.
really?
Yeah,
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, I guess so. That makes sense. And you know, we make fun of Lalas all day. I mean, because why not make fun of Lalas? They're a perfect punchline for things. And so I guess you don't see them as overly sexual, and you can easily just kind of avoid it. But if you play a Mocote girl, you're going to be harassed, even if you're a guy. Doesn't matter. You're going to be harassed. People will see you as an avatar of being a female character wearing skimpy clothes. And you know, not always skimpy clothes, but it seems like it gets made that way no matter what. Anyways, very good point there. We're going into perceptions people have in the real world environment, going into the game, and then actually talking about it in races and stuff in the game. Oh, let's just take this into a bigger. You know, there's so much stuff going on in the world. Let's talk about all the wonderful stuff in the news about Dallas and everything else while we're at it, right? No, we're not going to do that.
There's a line there.
We're not going to do it. We're done with that. We're back into the world of ENJOYYYY, guys. All right. So I'm going to just start making up some questions for you guys then. On the spot. If you guys had to pick between having the game completely desexualized, where all clothes kind of covered up everything, nothing stood out at all, versus having it overly sexual into a Wafu basic game, which would you prefer?
I wouldn't want it to just be like super close. I mean, I think that'd be boring if everyone was just wearing like hella robes and stuff. So
Yeah, I like the variety right now.
I like the variety, but if I had to choose between like everybody in swimsuits and everybody in like coat, I'd probably choose everybody in swimsuits. I think it's just more fun, you know? So
I got you. Kurt, do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you can go completely naked in this game. I mean, people
can
try,
fake
they
it.
dye it.
You can fake it
dye
pretty
your
well.
underwear, but
Yeah.
I mean, still, it's just, I wouldn't want a game that's on either extremes. I think a mix is good. Just like in the middle, you know?
Okay. Like Final Fantasy is right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Final Fantasy, the world you can make your character turn into anything you want. Anything. Jesus
You can
Christ.
even make emotes lewd.
Yeah.
true, yeah.
How do you
that
guys
is
feel about
true.
all the spamming of translation text and lewd comments?
Yeah. There's also just like the emotes where like I know specifically on my Lalafell with the voice I have on her, if you do fume over and over again, it's like a really loud like moaning sound and she's making like a hand job motion. So like together it's like a really weird situation when I start spamming it.
I can't tell you the amount of times I've gone into like a main city somewhere and I just see a couple of guys just sitting there doing, one guy doing the bend over emote and the other guy just sitting there doing the thrust emote. Just
Yeah.
constantly for like hours. It just doesn't end. I don't know. It just doesn't get old to him, I guess. It's great though. It's the internet, man.
Yeah, and it's not just that too. It's like the skills too, because you know somebody will put like, I don't know, heavy thrust, raging strikes, blood for
Yeah.
blood.
Yeah, and with the emotes too, and they're just sitting there just saying heavy thrust like thousands of times while they're doing the emote.
And like auto translate, like you said.
Yeah.
So
There's
what's-
something about auto translate because it feels
Yeah.
more official. It feels like you're making the officialness into like lewd stuff. So like it feels like official lewdness.
Right. Yeah, I mean this makes it into a game basically, right?
Yeah.
And so people like that. So what server did you say you play on currently now, Sophie?
Gilgamesh.
Gilgamesh, that's right. Gilgamesh must be like the best server to play on in the world because you can just log on and say I want to do something, and you have a group available to do it. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of people who come to it thinking that, and then when like they go into something and don't like immediately get it clear, they're like, I'm too great for this, I'm out of here. Like that's a very common personality that you come across. Because people come to Gilgamesh thinking they're the best person in the world, and then they're not.
Yeah, no, that's
So-
how most people are. I've been humbled enough by all the world first players to know that there's no way that I'd ever be on any level, even close to what they're on. And so I'm a very, very casual player, and I enjoy that. I really do enjoy that. But the reason I bring that up is I want to actually do a kind of difference between Balmung and Gilgamesh in terms of people spamming stuff that's overly sexual. What percentage, like, what's the ratio there? 1 to 10? Like Gilgamesh has like 1 every single day. Balmung would have 10 every single day of someone just sitting in Idleshire spamming.
I don't know, actually. I mean, I think there's just a lot of people there, whereas there's obviously a lot of people, like Balmung and Gilgamesh are the most populated servers, I think by a long shot. I think there's just a lot of people on Gilgamesh, and they're not all like ERPing, so like there's just a lot of people doing stuff, you know? I think it's more just a population thing more so than like there's actually like a higher caliber of raiders on Gilgamesh or anything, you know? I don't know. I raided on Balmung for a while, and there were still groups of people getting stuff done, you know?
Yeah. Every server has a group of people, at least
Yeah.
one group of people getting stuff done, right? Except for I think it was Solera that had one person who actually had the A4 mount.
Okay, yeah,
for
Mateus is pretty bad. I
Mateus.
left Mateus pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Oh, you went there.
I was born there. I was born on Mateus, and I switched to Balmung from there. But I leveled to 50 there, so.
Oh wow.
Okay. What made you leave? Was it just like, oh, there's no one to do anything with? or-
There was only one FC that was actually doing stuff, and they were all like really mean people that would like pull hunts really early, and then everyone would yell at them, and it was just like, you know, it was just like, no, we'll leave.
Do you think there's a correlation? And this is just random, but do you think there's a correlation between the people who pull hunts early and the people who spam emotes in Idleshire?
No,
No correlation?
why would there be a correlation between that?
Because, I mean, you're spamming, you're doing something that's like kind of funny, but kind of annoying at the same time. Pulling hunts early is kind of
Yeah,
annoying.
I guess you're right.
Okay.
It's kind of funny though, because like on smaller servers like a Mateus where there's like 5 people, like that's why you can't pull, like that's why pulling a hunt early is so weird. And I say it because I don't really care about people pulling hunts. I really don't give a crap. But like on Mateus there's like 3 people, so when one person shouts like, hey, like I'm on my way, like everybody knows, you know, they're on their way. So like it's really, and then you see that one guy pull and you're like, that guy pulled. And it's just kind of funny, the different attitude towards it.
Yeah, I would think that they have a link shell, and it's called the raiding link shell, and it's not full of people who just like to raid. You can't fill that link shell up all the way.
No, you probably can't, honestly. And people are just kind of behind, you know, like it was true on Mateus. Like people were, when people were actually like right before T13 got Echo, most of Mateus hadn't even done like T10 back on like Realm Reborn. I don't know. I haven't really been super into the Alexander raiding scene, so my like raid talk like falls into like Final Coil more so. So
What do you do in Final Fantasy right now?
I mean, I have rated, and I'm on A7S technically now, but like I've been doing it like super casually, just like pugging it, because I kind of like prioritize my stream over like having a static, you know?
Right.
So-
No, and that makes sense. It's really hard because the only times I say it's really hard on a Lewd stream, like all the time. I've said hard 500 times and no one's called me out on it, so I'm really kind of upset about it. But anyways, it's really hard to find a balance between that, especially for me. Like when I do MogTalk and then I raid 2 nights a week, and then everything else is work and life and everything else going on in the world. And so it sucks. Raiding streams, they suck with interaction between everyone else. And so that's why people like Mary, who was on the show, and he did a wonderful job, by the way. Mary did an excellent job hosting the show. And I'm definitely going to have him come on and do it more often. But when we actually talk about doing streaming, it sucks in raids when you're dealing with other raid members because you don't want to let them down, right? but you also don't want to let your stream down. And then you have to prioritize, am I more of a streamer or am I more of a raider?
And you have to have 7 other voices on your stream, which is
Yeah.
very confusing for you and other people. And that's why I pug, because I can still raid, but I'm not like, I can just tell people, no, I'm not getting in your Discord. I'm sorry.
Right.
Like, I can't.
So you don't have an actual group right now? It's just all
No,
pugging?
yeah.
Okay. How's Raid Finder?
I don't really use Raid. I still use Party Finder. I mean, like, Gilgamesh has enough people doing everything that I haven't even clicked the Raid Finder button. I haven't really... People have told me that it's kind of a fail, so I haven't really looked into it.
I've had success with it, but that's only because we've had one person every single time, and we just mark has to have completed it before. And we're looking for one other person, and then we fill it up real quick, and then not real quick, kind of okay time, and then we clear it usually.
It takes like the whole lockout.
It may take the whole lockout, but we can get a clear on it.
I've heard that it's really good for kind of cross server because not as many people are using it, so you can kind of like say like, hey, you queue up with these parameters, and then we'll be able to find you, sort of thing. I've heard that it kind of works like that.
Yeah. So it's good in the streaming aspect because you can actually play with other people in the stream.
Yeah.
Which could be a good or bad thing.
I was hoping for more of like a lobby thing where it's like a crossover party finder type
Crossover
thing.
party. I heard they were gonna put that for 3.4 though. Or
Okay.
So cross-server Party Finder on Aether turns into what because of Balmung?
I mean, do you really think people are gonna go into like A5S and start like role playing in
Yes.
Jinx? Like,
I do.
I guess so. Maybe I don't know. You'd think like the people who want that are all on Balmung, so they don't need a cross server raid finder. I don't know.
In the old days of raiding in different games, I was with a group, and the raid leader was telling me some experiences he's had where, like, he'd be raiding, and then, like, just in the middle of the raid, 2 people would stop responding, and then he'd go see they're in, like, a corner somewhere in the room making weird noises and things with their characters. It was an awkward thing to have that actually happen within your raid, and you're dealing with like 25 people at a time in those raids too. So I guess it's possible, and I can imagine that stuff happening on Balmung. No?
Yeah. Probably.
Okay. And we're saying all this bad stuff about Balmung, not because we hate Balmung. Balmung's great. You know, they do it. You do whatever you
I
want.
don't think it's bad stuff either. Like, I don't know. I don't think role playing is bad. I don't think cybering or erotically role playing is bad. I just don't personally partake, really.
Right. And it is a lot of fun to make fun of. It really is.
I mean, it is. And it's kind of funny. And I think that as long as people aren't like super embarrassed or something, people will kind of make fun of themselves too, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Why not? If you can't have fun with it, then why are you doing it? Go somewhere where it's more serious. This isn't Final Fantasy XIV is not an official ERP game. So if people are going to make fun of you, they're going to make fun of you for it.
Well, there's also just like, I think that there's some sense of when we talk about things like, you know, sex and lewd stuff or whatever, like we tend to laugh, you know, like it's kind of an awkward thing to talk about. So we kind of like, we make fun of things and like laugh about it to not make it feel weird, you know?
Yeah.
Like when you're in an awkward situation with someone, they say something really weird and you're like, how the hell do I get out of this? You just start laughing because there's nothing else to do, right?
Yeah.
Kurt's doing it right now.
Just imagine if somebody's saying something awkward and you're like, I don't know how to react.
It's not a fake laugh. You're just laughing because, like, I've done it plenty of times. Like, it's just, what do you do with the situation? You just start laughing because it's a funny situation to be in. I mean, doing an awkward laugh makes it even more weird, I guess. But
You guys remember those "That's What She Said" jokes?
yeah.
Broke
Yeah.
the ice pretty well, I think.
Yep.
For its time.
I think so. I mean, that's what my FC was called for the longest time. That's what she said, and it worked out great. I almost didn't join because of what it was called, but I was like, you know, whatever. These guys they're raiding, they're doing stuff. We'll make it work, and they're all great people. They weren't too lewd. They weren't overbearing. There was one person that I was actually warned about, and I forget who it was, and I'm glad I forgot who it was, but apparently he was the leader of some FC, and then he sent creepy messages to everyone that he found out was female in his FC. And that's
I
just
think
what he
there's
did.
always kind of people like that, though. I mean, there's, dudes who feel like they're gonna like find their girlfriend or like, I don't know, they just want to like talk to ladies.
How do you
I don't
guys
know.
like? Okay, so let's just call Arthas out right now. Arthas, he loves that stuff, right? He lives for it. He loves being like, if he knows there's a girl involved, he's like, yeah, I'll be involved with whatever situation's happening there. I'll wipe all day. I don't care. So how do you guys feel about guys who come to you like that?
I think that it depends on how they do that because Arthur's, you can tell he's joking.
Yeah.
Because like
You
even
can tell
when
he's joking, but it's like you could also tell he's kind of not joking. Like
but he really is because when people like actually take it seriously with him, when they like actually are like, oh yeah, like I'm a girl, like let's hang out, like he'll be like, oh, like wifey comes first, like wife is the best, like he'll bring up his wife like constantly and how she's like the only girl for him too, but then he'll like make the lewd joke still, but like he says it in a really joking way.
Yeah.
Like he's made jokes at me, but I've never felt like weird, like he's actually gonna like he doesn't like private message people. It's always like a stream
people, right?
like public joke thing.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not like predatory. It's just,
Yeah,
like, for
exactly.
fun. Yeah.
When a guy comes to you privately and is like, "Hey, you want to talk, girl? Like, you wanna like Skype and hang out? And here's my phone number." Like, that's weird.
Yeah.
And guys, if you have any questions, we're getting close to finishing up the show. If you have any questions, ask them real quick while you have the chance. Cryo will collect them in chat, whether it's lewd or serious or whatever it is. But yeah, no, I love Arthas. I was actually going to have him come on for this show, but he couldn't make it because he's going out of town.
Oh, that would have been hilarious.
Yeah, it's always a great time to have him on the show. I wish I could catch his streams more often, but he streams basically when I'm asleep, so.
Yeah, he does.
It's all right. All right, so K1 SPL has a group question. Given this topic of lewdness and adding to anime heads to the thought of this, Japanese culture is exposed to us through anime. So what kind of culture or similarities do you find in Final Fantasy XIV, or what is your thoughts on what Japanese may think of lewdness we encounter in the game? You guys can answer that. Do you need me to reread that question? It was a long one.
I think okay, so like I think, and I was gonna say this in the beginning when we were talking about the word lewd in general, but I think most people kind of use the word lewd as like an anime-ish reference. Like it kind of like came from that, right? Because it was like kind of like that like cutesy like inappropriate thing, I don't know. That's what I heard it was from anyway. So because a lot of people don't really use the word lewd. It's kind of like an internet, I don't know.
Internet thing.
Yeah, it seems like it. You don't really hear it much in everyday conversation.
Yeah, not used in the same way.
Okay.
Really.
I use
sorry,
it a
that
lot,
maybe
but-
that was probably completely unrelated to the question.
Oh, that's good. I think it was
Maybe
more
think of
like
it.
what Japanese culture, maybe.
Yeah.
Japanese culture and how it interacts with Final Fantasy XIV and the level of lewdness within the game. I think that's kind of where it's going.
I don't know. It's interesting, I guess. But then again, I feel like it's the American translators that are adding the lewd parts, right?
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the Japanese devs or translators. But as for the culture, I think in general they're actually more closed off. It's just every once in a while you'll see the weird octopus porn type stuff, but it's not like prevalent. It's not like all Japanese people are into that stuff. It's just, I don't know, they're a lot more closed off than Americans. I
think there's a weird mix there. How they're super conservative, and it's so conservative that you have this huge leak of just like crazy non-conservative stuff that's everywhere. For example, they were having the VR porn kind of convention that was going on recently or something that I heard in the news on Reddit. I call it Reddit news, but that's something that is actually a part of what happens over there, and they have conventions for it. But again, we have porn conventions here too, so it's not like we're any different, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of it's similar and different at the same. Like it's kind of like I don't know. I would say obviously like culturally there are differences in what is found as I don't know what people are like wanting to make jokes about or whatever. But I mean, I think that in terms of levels of lewdness, there are like similar amounts. You know. It's weird. America's kind of weird with it because different games are kind of constantly going back and forth with, hey, we need to take this out because it's too lewd, or like then you'll have like games that are like really out there, like I don't know, and like League of Legends, they removed the cigar from Graves's mouth or something, and everyone was like, whoa, is that like too inappropriate? So I don't know.
I gotcha. That was actually the only question. No one else has any questions about lewd stuff. I guess everybody's
according to Mr. D, there's actually a huge audience for it in Japan. I mean, I can see that, but I don't know if it's like publicly, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're not experts in the Japanese culture, to be honest with you. I don't think any of us took it. Did you guys take any classes or you have a degree in Japanese culture?
But I mean, like, I don't know. I'm just relating it.
Yeah. So it's kind of hard for us to relate the two. I mean, we can make assumptions and everything else, but I don't have my wonderful two people, Mark O'Turn and Arthas, on here to kind of give us their opinions, which they can usually translate stuff and give us an idea at least.
But I guess, like, versus, like, European culture. It's a little bit more open.
Well, European can be very open, too. It depends on where you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So... It's all over the place, guys. Sex is there. It exists. It makes games interesting. Would you guys kind of agree?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, now here we go. We got one from Skuro. What do you think of the Arcanist questline being as implied that Makote Arcanist was raped by a Rogadan pirate captain? We kind of talked about that, about how serious, sex situations are actually dealt with in this game. And that it's just something that just makes the game more gritty, right?
I didn't even know that was a thing. I guess I didn't read the quest line well enough because I didn't realize that was even part of the narrative.
There's lots of, and they're not super obvious about it, but they make a point that you have to look at it and say, that sounds weird, now I need to figure out what they're talking about, and then you come to the conclusion, oh, they're talking about rape. And they have a lot of it that I've seen in the game. So at the end of this whole part of the show, how awkward do you guys both feel right now? You feel very awkward?
Not particularly.
No? Okay.
I think we talk about things. I think we talk about these things really regularly while we're playing these games. Like you say, we kind of make these jokes. I mean, yeah, like going back and like looking back on the specific things is interesting, but I don't think it's that awkward.
It's not awkward
about it.
People shouldn't be so shy and conservative about what's going on. Just don't be creepy stalker people, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we didn't derail the conversation too much, so.
I derailed the hell out of this conversation. I was all over the place constantly, I think. But that's just me kind of throwing stuff together. And I also asked Sophie if she could come on the show yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Lots of pre-planning there. Lots of total
I was like, all right.
Sure, let's do it. Your first show. Come on and let's talk about lewd crap, right? It's perfect time to do it. I don't know. I figured I've been running back and forth, and I haven't been able to be as involved with what's going on in the stream community. But I do know that you, Sophie, you're doing a lot of Final Fantasy XIV streaming recently, and you're one of the bigger players in streaming right now for Final Fantasy XIV, whether you know it or not.
So
I think so.
I mean, I stream every night for like 6 hours, so I'm always here, basically.
Yeah. Are you going to be streaming tonight?
Every night.
When do you normally stream?
Months. 10:30.
10:30 Eastern?
Yeah, so in like 3.5 hours.
Oh, okay. And do you normally stream until 4 a.m. your time then?
Yeah, 3 or 4.
How do you do that? I mean, do you just like not sleep or?
I mean, I do schoolwork after my stream, and then I go to sleep and adult, and then stream, and I do that every day. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that is tiring. So there is no day that you don't do it.
Nope.
Wow.
I've taken like
Crazy.
3 or 4 days off in the past 7 months. So there have been days where, stuff has happened, but
So you're not like a dedicated, I have to do every single day one. You
I mean,
make
I'm not like
exceptions.
Pook, like he
Right.
was streaming in the hospital or something. I understand,
yeah.
like, if my
Right.
mom dies, I'm not gonna stream that night, Like,
Okay.
I have...
You have some obligations that you are
Yeah.
willing to break it for. Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, I stream about 9 hours a week at most, I think. So I'm kind of like you. I'm kind of like you. We're kind of in the
Yeah.
same boat. Yeah, yeah. Why not? And Kerora, you stream about 3 hours every other week.
No, I think it's when I do stream, it can be kind of long. Like my last stream, I have stats on it. All right, it was like 8 hours, but that was like one day.
Just a random
Like-
stream. Hey, I'm going to stream for 8 hours today.
I just like forget the time, and then it's like really late, and then I get really tired.
Yeah. So streaming as much Final Fantasy 14 to get off lewdness and just get into the general stuff. Sophie, streaming Final Fantasy 14, do you ever get just kind of bored of doing it and just need to do something else?
I try not to play a lot of 14 outside of streaming because I know sometimes I'll get the urge in the morning. I'm like, no, I'll do that later tonight. Like I don't want to like burn myself out. But I don't know. I mean, I'm doing a lot of like school work and serious life stuff outside of streaming. So when I get to streaming and I'm just like playing a video game, like yeah, it's tiring, but it's fun at the same time. I don't really get bored of the game itself.
Okay. So you try to make sure if you're playing video games, you're streaming it, you have a dedicated time for it, or?
If I'm playing Final Fantasy, I
Final
kind of
Fantasy,
dedicate
okay.
that to my stream because I've kind of, I don't know, I've committed my stream to Final Fantasy, so I want to like stay there,
No, yeah, it's a good community, definitely.
It is, yeah.
I mean, it's a smaller community. It's not like you're playing on Mateus, though, right?
Right.
Yeah, where you have like no one to play with. There's other people out there that you can talk to, and that's one of the awesome things that I think is going to happen at FanFest. Is there's so many people in the community right now that are going to go out and do that. Are you going to FanFest, Sophie?
No, because I'm going to TwitchCon and going to both would be really
No, I
hard.
gotcha. I'm doing both, so I'm crazy. But yeah, I'm gonna be going out there, and then I'm trying to find. So that reminds me, Sophie. Since I'm going out there, I'm gonna be doing an interview with you.
Okay.
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 So just to make sure I want to get all the Final Fantasy 14 streamers together while we're out there at TwitchCon and just kind of do little interviews of everyone. So just give you a heads up, just in case you didn't know.
Okay.
I'm doing that. And I also have another show planned for you. Don't worry about it. We'll come on that one. I actually have no shows planned other than one other show coming in the future. I have some other shows that are in the works. I just don't have them actually nailed down and planned out. But how did you enjoy your first experience of MogTalk, Sophie?
It was fun. I like talking.
You like talking?
I do, yeah. That's why I stream, so
I got you.
I'm always happy to if you ever need me, just message me. I'm always here, basically not doing
Okay.
anything.
Not doing anything. Just sitting around waiting
Just
for
sitting
something to
around,
happen.
Waiting, just be on the internet.
I gotcha. Yeah, I'll probably pull you in because you did good. Although you made me feel awkward a few times. I was sitting here and you're just like, okay,
Well, you're the host person.
Come
You're
on.
supposed to keep the conversation going.
I'm
Yeah,
trying.
I don't want to like if so, I don't. I'm really big on not interrupting people. So if I hear someone talking, I'm not gonna like talk over them or try not to. I'm always really uncomfortable when people interrupt each other. So it's just a personal
Oh,
thing.
okay. So not like Limit Break Radio or anything where you're just going out there and you're just saying, fuck you. You just,
I mean, if that's other people's thing,
yeah.
Oh.
I'm gonna start giving shots to Aniro. I'm gonna start throwing stuff at him. I need to get them on the show so I can have just a discussion about Limit Break Radio and everything else. I think that would actually be kind of interesting to do. So I'm making shows right now. We're sitting here just hanging out. Sorry, I'm just killing time now. Let's go ahead and wrap things up. Sorry, guys. So again, shout out to our guest, Sophie here, Complexy. Do you want to do any shout outs to anybody? Say hi to anybody?
I don't think so.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I don't know. Do people say hello to people? I don't know. Probably see them
Alright.
tonight. So
I got you. No shout outs to anyone. Sophie doesn't care about you guys.
I mean, I could shout out Skuro since he's in the chat, but no.
What's up?
Give an anti shout out to Skuro.
Yeah, I'm pretty anti shout out to Skuro too. He guy's a dick.
Yeah, much, right?
Yeah, I think so. Kerr, do you have any shout outs for anybody?
Yeah, Twitch chat for showing up.
Yeah, Twitch chat, thanks for showing up and being remotely lewd with us.
Yeah,
for
it was
just a little
great.
bit. Yeah.
Good comments. Also,
I didn't watch chat at all. I'm sure it was great though.
they're actually being really quiet.
Oh, really?
But it's okay.
All right.
I mean, shout outs to you, Frosty, for doing MogTalk.
Oh, well, thanks. Thanks, I appreciate it. Sophie didn't shout me out. I guess she doesn't give a shit about it. That's fine.
I didn't know I was supposed to have
no, it's all right.
Thank you, my mom. Thank you.
You said no, it's all right. Thank you, Spaghetti Flying Monster. I appreciate
anyone from my chat who showed up today, like Joss and Ao and people I see in the chat. I wasn't expecting to like say that, you know. No,
that's good. All right, so let's move on to the next part. Thank you, Reddit, for giving me all that information on lewdness. I highly appreciate it. Gave us a little bit of content to talk about today. Thank you for the guys who watched the show. I appreciate it. Question Gatherer Cryo, although your job was kind of easy today. And then the artwork, Blizzana. Music from Andre Kane. MogTalk next week is in the works. I'm working out the details on it. And then once I have it solid, I will post that on Twitter for you guys to know. Before we leave, Complexity, do you want to host somebody? Give us somebody a...
Oh, man. Let me see.
You can do it.
I can do it. Oh man, I can just choose someone.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right.
Just anybody that you want to have hosted.
All right. Should I put it in Skype chat?
Yeah. Well, I won't see Skype chat. You put it in.
Should I just say it?
Just say it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could host my friend Spoonie because she's playing Final Fantasy. I don't know if you've met her. Spoonie, SPOONEE. She's just getting into Final Fantasy 14 streaming and she's a cool gal.
All right, awesome. Again, thank you all you guys for sticking to this very awkward and weird show. I hope you enjoyed it. It was great, and you guys have a very wonderful day. Check out Spoonie. If she is not a great streamer and she sucks, it is all because Sophie.
Y'all can blame me.
Yeah.
She's awesome, I promise.
Definitely. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and send the host. Have a wonderful day, and until next time, bye, guys. Everybody do your awkward waves. Perfect.